Good morning, everybody. How are we? Just as usual, just a risk disclaimer. Just please understand that any advice in today's session is of a general nature only and that your personal circumstances have not been taken into consideration. Alright, let us get started straight away and let's have a look at what's happening this week on the news front. Of course, last week, or yesterday for myself, was non-farm payrolls, and it's a strange one because it was non-farm payrolls that occurred on a Good Friday. It is quite rare. I think it's happened 3 times in the last 10 years. So the market generally can trade a little bit lighter. The news that came out wasn't extravagantly off the mark. It was a little bit off, but nothing huge. The market did move, more so because of the light trading. Some of the pairs had movements of anywhere between 60 and 100 pips during that announcement, which is expected for non-farm payrolls. But look, that's kind of washed out, and I think for this particular week, what of more focus is closer to us here in Australia. We have the RBA announcement, which happens on Tuesday, traditionally the first Tuesday of the month. So this is the big one, and there's a lot of hype on this one this time round, just as there was last time. There is growing pressure that the RBA will, in fact, cut rates. Now, it's a bit of a strange one because there was recently comments about the effects that a rate cut could have on the housing industry in Australia. So although the RBA really doesn't concern itself with that sector of the market, it won't necessarily make a decision based on the fact that it wants to soften any housing decline or boom, so to speak. Sydney at the moment, for those of you who don't know, the lower interest rates basically means greater lending power or borrowing capacity, which has led to an increase in property values. So the RBA doesn't necessarily align itself with that train of thought. Its purpose is not that. Its purpose is basically to try and control inflation and maintain the strength of the economy in the country. And the reality check is, with China decreasing, iron ore prices coming off, there's plenty of reasons for the RBA to in fact cut interest rates. Now, I get the feeling that they want to, and they're kind of stuck in a bit of a sticky situation where they may in fact try to not create a massive property boom. And so it's going to be a tricky one. My personal feeling is that they will probably do something this time round. Of course, last time everybody was expecting it, and the fact that they did not move created an inverse effect in the market, and the Aussie dollar shot up. And essentially it was because everybody had already positioned themselves into the trade, and when what was expected did not come through, well, then basically the market took a U-turn, so to speak. So it's going to be an interesting one, this one. So the Aussie RBA announcement is definitely the highlight of the week. We also got Aussie retail sales, and we got China CPI figures, and also USD FOMC meeting minutes. So I think because of the fact of all this combined Aussie and US data that's coming out this week, the one on the spotlight for us is definitely going to be the Aussie USD. Alright, now I'm generally not one to trade news. I will kind of trade it on a fundamental basis if I feel I'm expecting something. But to give you an idea, if I was to trade news, I would probably position myself into the trade well early. So probably by Monday afternoon. Like, for example, if I was of the opinion that they were going to make a cut and I wanted to short Aussie dollar, I would try and position myself at some point by Monday evening and then just write it out and see what the outcome is. Alright, now, so take note, just the times that you're seeing is my local, well, it's not local for me where I am at the moment, but it is local Sydney time that these announcements are coming out, so please take note. So for this week, Aussie US dollar is the one on the spotlight for us. The other one which is got interest rate decision is also the GBP, which happens on Thursday evening, which is the official bank rate. So keep an eye on that. And the one that always interests me, mainly because I'm a yen trader, is the BOJ press conference. You never know what's going to come out of that. I do understand that they're quite happy to continue to pursue their easing programs, but you never know what they may throw in as a twist and what it could create. So please be aware of all these data, and that's the week ahead on the fundamental and the news front. So let us bring up our charts. Let's see what's happening, and we'll get started straight away. Alright, so let me kick off with the Aussie dollar. Alright, now last week we drew out a trading range, and what concerned me was that we had already taken that bit out there. Now we've basically come straight back down and we've taken out the low. This has created those situations where I really don't like if you were a breakout trader right now and you were trying to trade this, you'd be tearing your hair out, because essentially the original levels were here. We break here, so you take a trade to head down, then it goes straight back the other way. You break again, you take a trade to go up, go straight back down. So you're getting stopped out straight after. You do it again, and it's shooting back inside already. So it's one of the primary reasons where I don't like it when the market breaks up and down, creating that bigger trading range. Alright, so instantly, as you all know, what I'm starting to look for when this happens is a converging triangle. So let me start to draw it out. Let me get rid of this. I guess ultimately we still are trading between the 79, we'll say 80 and about 75, and that range is getting bigger. This is a volatile week for the Aussie dollar, so it's one that it's a little bit tricky to trade, and the pattern and the technicals, I guess the charts, are not really screaming anything at all to me. So let me just draw what I think will play out. So I instantly start to look for this, alright, even though this one's a little bit narrow. Alright, but this is kind of what I start to look for a play in there before I get a break in either direction. It may just be that whatever happens on Tuesday could jolt us to that level there, and then now we start to play inside and it starts to really set up. At the moment I don't have anything at all on the Aussie dollar. The chart looks really horrible. We were in a consolidating region where we kept on breaking higher highs, lower, and then breaking both sides of the range, which is really the type of chart that I like the least. So I don't have anything for you on the Aussie dollar other than there's an increase in probability that the RBA will in fact introduce some kind of a rate cut. Now, how much? It could also vary. You know, some are even talking about 50 basis points. I don't think that would be that drastic, and 25 basis points is more what they may introduce if in fact they decide to play that card at this particular point in time. Alright, they've still got plenty of time to introduce a rate cut later in the year, but the pressure is growing, and there's plenty of reasons, and those reasons are well justified, that if they did it now, they're well within their rights to do so. Okay, Aussie dollar this week, not much other than what I've just said, and we'll just have to play it out and see what happens for us. Alright, let me just have a quick look at a 4-hour chart if this looks any better. Not at all. Alright, so we'll keep it as it is. On our daily chart, we've expanded our range. Let's wait for it to narrow in again, and let's see if we can pick up a nice trade from it. Euro USD. Last week, Euro USD, we highlighted this trade, and pretty much I said at the market open, we're going to get the fractal. There it is, and we got the engulfing combination. So for those of you who took this trade, you should have been able to enter this trade right there. Okay, if you placed your stop right there, basically the 1-to-1 just about hit. So it's about 150 pips. So for those of you who took it, you should have at least taken something out of the trade when you reach the 1-to-1 ratio, and if not, well, now you're in a negative position. What looks like now, what I'm interested in now is to see whether we break this. So if Monday open we come into this region here, okay, then I don't actually want to trade the trade off the break. That's not what I want to do. But what I would like to do is, if in fact we do get a break through there, then what I'm more interested in is, as we come back, I'm going to be looking for my favorite inside candle combination with a fractal over here, and then I want to basically shoot it into continuation, because what that would indicate to me is on a daily chart is that now the trend is starting to change, and essentially what I'm looking for is this kind of movement there, and I'm trying to pick up the trade just off some kind of combination in that area there. I would definitely, before I can look for that trade, I want to take out this high, because if you notice over here, we already had the setup over here. However, if you traded that, it would be considered a very aggressive trade, because in theory we would trade in this one in this direction, because this is the trade that we took last week. Okay, let me just clean that up a little bit, it's getting a bit messy. This is the trade that we took last week, and we took it off this combination there straight down. Now that played out 1-to-1, our target was hit. However, now if on Monday we take out this high over here and we start to head in that direction, all of a sudden now on a daily chart we can kind of see that we're possibly into a trend that way. So then I will be looking for my inside candle combination over here into that direction. So that's what I'm looking for on the Euro USD. Should this level hold, okay, you could possibly look for a double top trade back down into the range. So it's going to be a little bit tricky. Just keep an eye on it. Either way, if the level holds, it does not break. I don't think it will hold, but if it does, then what you're going to be looking for is you want your candle combination over here like that, so that you can basically trade it back down off the channel. Either way, I believe we're going to get a setup on the Euro USD. Alright, so keep an eye on it, and this is the play. The formation is looking good, it's trending really nice, so I don't mind if it ranges and shoots back down, or if it breaks and then continues upward. Those are the two types of trades that I'm looking for. Okay, that's the Euro USD for us this week. Let's move on. GBP USD. Okay, last week I drew a couple of lines and I wanted to lock this bottom line. I think I can lock it in now. If I can adjust it here, the reason why I can lock it in, well, I think I can lock it in, is because we had this candle right here which left me the fractal indicating the low, and we've shot off it. In fact, this trade right over here, inside candle combination over here, right now when I'm talking to you as I speak, I'm a little bit late on the trade. Alright, I should have been able to get an entry at the break right there, and the trade is I'm trying to shoot across to the other line. Now I don't know, I can't, the other line I cannot lock it in just yet, but I believe it's going to be somewhere in this 61.8 region or the 78.6 retracement of this level there. Okay, so I'm talking about that level there or this one there. So that's the highest probability of where this top line is going to end up. Alright, however, This trade has technically already triggered. It triggered on Friday. So what you can do when you watch this recording on Monday, depending what time you watch it on Monday, at the open on Monday, this is the level that you should have got in at right there. If the market opens close to that level, you may decide that you want to take this trade anyway. If you get any kind of a little bit of a pullback, okay, you may decide that you want to take this trade anyway. Your stop is going to be over here. You work out your risk, and remember, with this type of trade, always try to take something out of the trade when you get to the one-to-one risk to the reward. But this type of trade easily is a 2-to-1 type of trade that you're looking for, which would put you in this vicinity over there. Let me just measure out. Let's get some levels. The entry would have been around about the 148.66. Okay, your stop is going to be in the area of 147.30. So that makes it about 130 pips. Remember, we don't care how many pips it is. It's about the dollar risk that you're deciding to risk on the trade. All right, so that's it there, and which would basically put you 1-to-1 is just before the 150 level, which is good because there could be a little bit of a. You can see that the market has struggled before at the 150. It's psychological, but once it pushes through that, it should easily get to that 2-to-1 level. All right, so the key to this one is if you feel the trade has already happened, just walk away from it, just ignore it. But if you feel that you want to participate, Monday morning when the market opens, see how close it opens to this level, all right, and then you make a decision whether you want to join in or not. If you decide that you do not want to join in, well then wait for it to get to this top, wait for a candle with a fractal, and at that point in time we can move this line, lock it in, and then trade it back in a downward direction. So for those of you who don't understand what I mean by lock it in, I'll show you. Bear with me one moment. Okay, so I may have to move this line up or down as such. I think it's going to be around about there, but I'll only know once I get a candle that delivers for me the fractal like this one did over here, and I'll get it up there somewhere, and then I'll readjust this line to suit that fractal, and at that point I've got a confirmed locked in converging triangle. This one right now is the first actual trade that is physically possible for me with this combination. Let me get rid of these Fibonacci lines now. I don't need them. Let me get rid of that as well. This is the first opportunity that I've actually had to trade off this line. So Monday morning, see where we open. If you like it, come in. You may decide you might want to put a limit order, wait for the market to pull back and see if it gets you in. It may not, but let's see what happens. I'll keep an eye on it as well. Alright, that's the GBP USD for this week. Let's have a look at gold. Gold, okay, we broke out of that channel nicely. It shot up, it's pulled back, and you can see that it gave us a little bit of trouble at that area there. It had a little bit of a memory, kind of, not quite a double top, but kind of in there. And what I find interesting, it's not the cleanest, say head and shoulder type of pattern, but it's, if I look there, that's one shoulder, this is the head, there's the other shoulder. Okay, it's an inverted one. So if we can clear that level there, then this really opens it up into that direction. Alright, it's really the only thing I can see on gold, so you're going to have to keep an eye on it. Let me have a quick look on a 4-hour chart. There was something that I saw before. No, it's not there. Let's the daily chart, we've come out of that channel, so let me get rid of it now. The trading question for me is, as soon as I cross over that line sits at around about the 1220 mark. Alright, so if we can get through that, well then gold could pretty much if we can clear, if we get a nice clean candle that breaks through it, pretty much we have empty space all the way up to 1300. Alright, so if we can get through that, we have empty space all the way to 1300. If you want to be conservative and you don't want to trade the straight break, what you can do is wait for it to break, wait for the pullback, and on the pullback look for your, I drew that a little bit awkward, let me just do it again. Look for a nice little inside candle with a fractal combination and shoot it into that direction, because at that point, as soon as we break this level, we can now say that the trend has reversed and we are trending upward. This is a daily chart, so if we break it, you've got two options. You can trade the straight break because it's an inverted head and shoulders, and that's the way that you would trade it. Or if you're a little bit more conservative, wait for a pullback, look for a fractal entry, and then hit it as you go up. Okay, that's gold for us for this week. US yen. The US yen at the moment is probably the hardest chart that I'm finding. We're consolidating in this area. It's really ugly. It's just not giving me any trade opportunities at all. I think when I chatted to you last week, we were 1, 2, 3, 4. We were over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. We were here, right in the middle. We were there somewhere at the time. And guess what? We're still in the same area. I don't really want to touch it. I still feel this is the way that we're going, and my views have not changed on it. That doesn't mean that I just trade because I feel that way. I need to see something. So what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a little bit of bounce or resistance or support at the boundaries. If I can see that, I'm happy to trade into the channel. And to be honest, the trade that I would love is for this one to come down, give me something right there, hit it, and then I want to hang on to that one for a little while. That's the trade that I'm really looking for, because if it comes down, hits there, I'm happy to ride this through and ride it through the next barrier until, for a long time. This is a trade that I'm really looking for. I hope it does come out for us. It will be a longer term trade. It's probably a trade that I can see myself in this trade for easily for a month. Alright, but this is the one that I can see right now. We're right in the middle. There's just no point doing anything at all. Just leave it alone and just monitor the boundaries, monitor the top and the bottom. I said that back to front. So monitor the bottom and the top and see what it can give us. Look for the setup, and if we can see it, let's just make sure that we can hit that on as it happens. Alright, so that's all I got for you on the US yen. Let me have a quick look at a 4 hour. It's a really horrible looking chart actually, so no, let's just stay on the 1 hour, on the daily. Leave it alone. Let's look at it next week. Let's see where we are. But of course, if you see the activity happen on the fringes, then don't be shy. If the trade's there, that's part of trading. What we have to do is do not be afraid to pull the trigger and participate. Euro yen, let's have a look. Alright, Euro yen, where it's a tricky one at the moment. It looks like, we're doing this. We did get a setup. Let me just zoom in a little bit more. I saw the triple inside candles. We saw that, I think I talked about that last week, but we broke up, so nothing happened. And then last week, where do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We had that one, which came down. We didn't participate there. We're locked in to this range at the moment. And what I'm really looking for, two things I'm interested in. Okay? We've already had 2 bounces off the top. Usually, look, you might get a third. I'm not so sure. But the trade that I'm kind of a little bit more inclined towards is I get the feeling that we're going to push through here. As soon as we push through here, because this is a daily chart, I instantly start to think, is the trend reversing a little bit? Alright, so therefore the type of trade that I'm going to be interested in looking for is my bread and butter, we've come out of a consolidating region, so we're wait for a little bit of a pullback, and if we want to do it conservatively, we'll do it with price action. So we're going to look for our bread and butter inside candle or engulfing setup with a fractal, and then we're going to hit that trade in that direction. That's what I'm looking for on the Euro Yen. It's very, very similar to what I spoke on the Euro USD. They are slightly correlated. So this is what I can see. It's a trade that I really do like. I don't think this level is going to hold for another bounce, but it may. It doesn't matter if it does, if it doesn't. If it does hold and you get another fractal at the top and you feel brave enough to take it, by all means, short it. But I get the feeling we're going to go through this time, and this is the setup that is more than likely going to take place. Alright, so Euro Yen for this particular week, let's wait, let's see if we break through, wait for the pullback, look for our favorite setup, and then let's hit it in the upward direction. Okay, let's move on. Kiwi dollar. Alright, Kiwi dollar, I left you last week with this sort of inverted, rising wedge. We got the break candle there and it shot down very nicely, so for those of you who took that trade, well done. We called it out nice and early, so it did play out nicely. Now let's have a look what I have at the moment. Let me just, this is a 4-hour chart. I really don't see anything on a 4-hour chart. Let me get rid of these lines now that I don't need them anymore. And let's go to a daily. Let's see what we can see on a daily. Okay, on a daily, we've taken out that high, we've pulled back, oh, I'm right in the middle. I don't really like this chart. Let's leave this one alone this week, guys. It's a little bit tricky to trade this one. The primary reason is I don't want to trade an upward break. Fundamentally, I don't think that the US dollar is going to lose that much ground against the Kiwi dollar. So my fundamentals are telling me that I don't really want to go long, and I don't like the chart setup, so that instantly says to me, let's just walk away from it and let's wait another week and let's see if we can find a nicer chart. If you ever get that feeling that fundamentally you feel that, for example, very pro US dollar, alright, so for me to go long Kiwi dollar, that means it's going against what I'm fundamentally thinking. Alright, now yes, technically we did break out of that level, we did take it out, but instantly it shot down very, very hard, and now there's a little bit of a distance there, so look, I'm just going to walk away from this one. So this week, let's just leave the Kiwi dollar alone, and let's see what happens next week. Okay, so let me just remove all my markings so that I remember we got nothing on the Kiwi dollar. Let's have a look at it next week. Last one for the week is the Euro Aussie. Okay, we marked out this consolidation last week. Let me zoom in a little bit. And we got the candle. That was the candle last week when I was talking to you. We were somewhere in here. That candle closed above, took everything out. So in theory, you should have entered the market right there. And it's a really good trade. What'd that give us? Give me a moment. 230 odd pips is what it delivered. Look, what I can say with this particular one right now, what I saw is I can see an ABCD, where that's my A, B, my C, and I need to look for the D so that I can short it again. Now, The Euro Aussie is going to be very volatile this week because of the RBA announcement. Let me just get these fib levels. I just want to double check. Okay, this one's good. It's valid. It's at the 127 level, so that's okay. Let me check the other one. Alright, so basically what I'm looking for is, I'm just looking for the market to push up a little bit more, and at 61 level, there you have it, ABCD pattern. So where this would be your A, your B, your C, and your D. It's an ABCD pattern off the 1278 Fibonacci, not the 161. Okay, it's still a valid ABCD pattern. So if any of you are interested, Euro Aussie, that's the one. Just remember, this one's going to be volatile this week. All right, no doubt about it. It's going to be a volatile particular currency pair because of the RBA announcement. All right. Okay, that's pretty much all I have for you. I've been recording these classes just last week, this week, and I'll pre-record next week's as well. I have to wait until the market closes next Friday before I can do it, so that I can see what's happened. I'm in a little bit of a remote area at the moment, but I've managed to get internet access sufficiently enough to be able to upload the classes and send you the link. So look guys, have a great week, and I will send something out for you on Thursday so that you can continue, and I'll be back shortly. As always, if you do have any questions, just email them through. I am getting them and I will respond. Alright, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you all next I'll talk to you all again next Monday, and I'll send you out something on Thursday. Bye for now guys.